the cynicism that defines this moment, not just here in the state of California, but this moment all across the United States of America. I said this last night, I've said it almost every other day for the course of the last few months, that we defeated Donald Trump in the most important election in our lifetime in 2020, but we did not defeat Trumpism. Trumpism still is alive all across the United States. You saw that on the night of the election with the big lie and the perpetuation to this moment of the big lie, including in this recall. In the quite literally you cannot make it up file. They're talking about filing a lawsuit, and the election hasn't even been completed, suggesting, as Trump himself has done on multiple occasions, that this election is rigged. What they're doing is damaging trust in this country, trust here in our democracy, in the fundamental right of one person's right, and I would argue responsibility to express themselves on Election Day, to vote. It's a profound and important moment. Not only San Francisco's history, our state, but our nation's history. Who are we? And are we going to reject this? Are we going to send a powerful message? Enough of this. The voter suppression that you're seeing all across this country. The assault on women's fundamental rights. Trust me, if this was about men, we wouldn't be having this debate. You know that. A constitutionally protected right, the right choice. I said it last night, I'll say it again. Racial justice is quite literally on the ballot. Social justice is on the ballot. Economic justice is on the ballot. The rights of working people, it's on the ballot. Unionizing. A pluralized state, a state that celebrates its diversity. All of that is on the ballot. I don't need to remind you, I hope I'm not here to persuade you. I'm just here to persuade you to get out on the streets and knock on doors and finish the job and vote no on this recall. I'd be remiss, by the way, I'm kind of enjoying being up here because, John, last time I was up here, John O'Rourke invited me up here, and it was one of those candidate forums when I was running for supervisor here in San Francisco. So I go back to Local 6. That's before I had gray hair. I was my daughter's age, Brooklyn's age, when I was last up here. So I feel quite literally I'm back at home in every way, shape, or form. So I just want to acknowledge that Local 6 has been with me in every race. My first supervisor's race, my last mayor's race, lieutenant governor, and governor's race. So thank you. I mean it. It means the world to me. And so, look, you've had my back. I want you to know I will have your back. And I hope not only in the next 18 or so months as I finish out this term, but the work we have in front of us to continue the job here in this state. And that job, by the way, is not done as well. You know, today I'm very proud that we have among the lowest case rates and positivity rates in America. We are proud of that. Been led by science and public health. You know, and I love some of the pundits saying that's going to be your biggest Achilles heel. California's leadership and resolve to address this issue in the pandemic. Well, with respect to those pundits that asserted that, take a look at the contrast. We're not asserting anything anymore. We have the ability to prove things. We've been able to see its scale, unprecedented scale across this country, for that matter, around the rest of the world. Does science work? If you're interested in argument, if you're iterative, if you believe in public health, does it work to approach the issue of a pandemic by encouraging and or requiring face coverings and face masks? Is it right to encourage, to require verification and or testing of vaccinations? You've seen the results. You've seen what's happened in places like Texas and Florida and Mississippi and Alabama, and you've seen what's happened in states like the state of California, among the lowest, again, case rates in the United States and positivity rates. The issue of masking and vaccines on the ballot. I mean, what more contrast do you need? If you find someone in the course of the next 7 hours that says, I still don't know. you know, convince me, you know. So you're going down the elevator and they say, you know, when we hit the 6th floor, you better have a good argument. Just consider the fundamental contrast that's on the ballot. You know this. It's not even close. If we don't reject this recall, Larry Elder's the next governor of the state of California. I'm going to sound like Obama. Don't boo, vote. And vote no on this election. But if you have to and you're stuck in that elevator with your mask on, just consider, in a matter of weeks, Larry Elder could be sworn in as the next governor of the state of California. He said on the first day he is elected, he don't want to wait 100 days, he doesn't even want to wait a week. He won't even wait until his first cup of tea. He said he'll sign an executive order eliminating mask wearing and vaccine verifications for health workers and state workers before his first cup of tea. What more evidence do we need than a governor that wants to take us off the same COVID cliff that these other Republican governors have taken this nation off? This is a life and death decision. That's not exaggerated. This is a life and death decision. The public health, the public safety, our well-being is on the ballot this Tuesday, and so, in conclusion, is our economy. And I think this is important, especially all the Democrats out here. We don't talk about that enough. Labor talks about jobs, but we need to also talk about the economy. And I'm just going to briefly make a point that cannot be repeated enough. California has the fastest growing economy of all Western democracies over the last 5 years. No other state, no other nation, the United States included, Germany and Japan, no other nation has outperformed the state of California, the 5th largest economy in the world, in the last 5 years. That's not despite our values, that's because of our values. I'm proud of that. And by the way, everybody jumping up and down and saying, well, you know, Florida didn't have the mask wearing all that stuff last year and their economy obviously did better. They're wrong. Florida's economy did worse than California. So did Texas. And they had worse health outcomes. These things go hand in hand. If we want to get our kids safely back in person, full-time in school, mask wearing is a key to getting that done. If we want to keep our small businesses back on their feet without any fear of closure and get this economy roaring back, then vaccines are the key. We cannot allow that progress to be stalled. We can't allow the economy, not just our public health, to be impacted by a wrong decision tonight at 8 o'clock. So what are we going to do? We will turn out and vote no on this recall.